Yesterday we started the objects. We'll continue with objects only. So let's say this is my object and I create the object like this. Name, maybe I can say Jack, or let's say I have some book details. So name, maybe I can say whatever I can say. What is the name? Let me put, let's say Catch 22. Name of the book, published in the 1961, and then author. I will put the name of the author here, and here I will say first name of the author is Jack, and the last name of author is Bauer. Okay, so this is the object, sample object. Now we'll go through this object again and little bit we'll revise something. So if I want to say this value Catch 22, I can say object dot name. So I'm getting Catch 22. I could have also said object of name, then also this Catch 22. Okay, so I can either write this one or I can write this one. Okay, so now let's say if I want to put this author first name. So how to access this first name? I can say object dot author dot first name. Okay, so if I say object, then I have to say author, and then I have to put dot first name, so I can display this part. I could also say object. I can put it here as a single quote or double quote, and then I can say the last name, for example, last name. Okay, so this is something I can use this way also, I can use this way also, because I'm saying object and then I'm going to author and I'm going to the last name to go in the hierarchy. I could also do like this, object, author. So author, I'm using this rectangular bracket, and for this first name, for example, I can use dot. So here I can say dot first name, so I'll get Jack. Okay, so either I can mix and match, or I can use this way dot notation, or I can use only rectangular bracket notation. It's up to me, whatever I want. I could also do like this, object dot author, then I can start with the rectangular bracket, first name. Okay, so I can mix and match and do whatever I want to do. I can create variable also, for example, key equal to first name. So if I do key equal to first name, then I can say object dot author, then in the rectangular bracket, can I do like this dot key? Can I do like this? Key is the first name, yes or no? Can I do key? No, because we don't have a key inside this object. So to do the key, because first name is there, so I have to use rectangular bracket here, and when I use the rectangular bracket, I can put the variable name in the rectangular bracket. Key is nothing but the first name, so first name is displayed as Jack. Okay, so this is something when we have hierarchy of the object, that is what I want to show you. Now let's go further. Let's create another object. Var object equal to, I create another object, and here I will put the name Raffaello, and I will put the name, say name. Okay, say name, and here say name will be the function. So what I did, I created a function, say name, and in this say name I will return a string I am, and I have to give this name. I have to give this name here. So what should I write here? Can anybody tell me? I have to put this name here. So what should I put it here? Object.name. Since this is object and this is the name, so I can say object.name. So I can get this part because object.name is nothing but this one, object.name. So now if I enter it, I will say object. I will just print object. It is saying name and I have the function. This is the function. So if I say like this, object dot say name, if I run this, I will get I am Raffaello, and this object dot name is coming from this one. Okay, so this is the way also this is the way we can access the variable inside the object. There is another way also which I will do in few minutes, but this is one of the way. Now let's talk a little bit about creation object. So objects generally are created in three ways. So I will tell you the three ways to create the object. So first way, three ways to create the object. Let's talk about the three ways. First way is object literal. So for example, I create object equal to curly bracket. So this is what we have seen in couple of examples in the today's class. So this is one of the way I create the object. Second way to create the object. Okay, so let's do one more thing in this first way. I will put object.name is equal to Jack. So if I print object, it is saying name equal to Jack. Second way to create the object is var object2 is equal to, I can say new is the keyword, and I will put the object like this. So this is the JavaScript object, which is the basis of everything in JavaScript. All the objects are created with this function, and this is provided by the JavaScript. So I could have created object with the new keyword, and I will give the object. This object is also keyword, and I create this object. Okay, now if I do object2 dot name equal to Tony, for example. So if I do object2, I am getting name Tony. Like in the object, I am getting name Jack. Here I am getting object name Tony. So I can either create object using this way, or I can create the object using this way. And there is a third way to create the object. That is object3. So to know the third way, I will tell you it's a little bit big. Before I do the third way, just in your textbook, textpad, notepad, just write down this way how to create the object, and then write down this way how to create the object second way, and third way I will tell you just now. After you are done with this writing, I will do the third way. So just somewhere in the notebook or notepad or anywhere, put this is a way one, method 2 to create the object, and I will show you third method. Once you put this, let me know. I will show you the third way. Just write it down these two way, and then we'll go with the third way. Okay. So you have written this. Let's go with the third way. So I will empty this one. Now we'll go with the third way. To create the third way, we use a function. Function is also an object, and it can be used as a function, and it can also be used as object. But the originator of the function is object. So though I'm creating function, it is a kind of object in JavaScript. Okay, but to make it really object, I will create the function and I will use it like I will show you. So I will create a function. Maybe I will say object3. So this is my function, and here I will say, so here I will say this dot name equal to current, something like this. I will give just this dot name equal to current, and I will create one function. Then in the new line I will put O equal to, I create this variable O equal to, I will say object3, new object3. So instead of calling directly the function, I will just put the new in front of it. What I'm doing, I'm putting new in front of it. So when I see object, object is nothing but a object. Since it is created from object3, so we are getting this display name, but it is the object and it has the name of the current, which I am seeing this here. Okay, so this O is also an object. If I say type of O, it is object. So I created the third way where I create a function, and all the variables which I want in this object, I will put that variable with the keyword this. So I'll say this dot name is whatever name I want. I can put n number of variables inside this using this keyword, and everything will come like this. Okay, so just write down this third way. Write down this function and create this object, and just display in your console or just write down in your text pad. Then we'll go further. So this is the third way. Okay, done. Many people have done. Okay, so let me empty it. Okay, so we saw three methods. I will just revise one more time. This is object literal, or I can say object equal to new object, or I can create a function. I can create any function, for example x, and then I can say object equal to new x. So these are the three methods which are used to create the object. So it's up to you, whatever method you like, you can create with that way. All three will create object, and all three will behave similarly. Generally this is very easy because it just is created with a curly bracket. So practically many people use this. This is very rarely used. This people use sometimes, and in some application people create using this one. There are few more ways to create the object which we will not see in today's lecture. But in today's lecture we'll see only these three ways, but there are few more. Just remember, we will see them in the future if required, but not today. Okay, so I generally use function part or this part depending on the complexity of what I want to create it. This part I never use it. Okay, so this is just a practical example. Okay, so this is the three way. It's clear how to create the three way, because next time I create this way, you should know that this is the way to create object. I make you use this one So you know that this is the way of doing this one. Now, if I pass this, what is this variable? I already explained this in long back. Can anyone tell me what is this? What is this? This is the global object. In the browser, global object is window. So when I type this and press it, you will see lot of different functionality is there in this global object. And I can take use of any of this property in my JavaScript. There are thousands of properties which I can use and which are on your plate to do it and to make your website or whatever programming function you have to do. You can do it with so many functions, so many variables available in the global object. Okay, so if I print this, it is the window object. I am able to see the whole object list. Okay, so many of them we will do in our future classes, and many of them we will not do, but you can check it and you can do it whenever the time will come in your practical project. If I type window also, then also I will see lot of say it is the same. If I put this also, window also, it is same one and the same thing. We will see same number of functions, same number of variables inside this window object. So when I create a function, for example, I create a function A. When I create a function A, and if I do console.log, and if I say this, what do you think? What will be printed in this? Can anyone guess what will be the console.log of this if I put this inside the function? Outside the function, everyone knows that this is the window object and it has all the variables and methods are there. But if I put inside the function, what do you think? What will it print? So Ole is saying to function, Anand is saying to parent. So what is parent? What you see? Parent means A or what? What is the parent? So I got okay A. Anand is saying A. Ole is saying to function that is A. So both are saying same. Can anyone guess what will be the this will be there in the A? No more guesses? Okay. Let's see what it happens, what it does. So when I invoke the A, you will see it is same as this object in the global level. So it is the same. So there is no change. It is not pointing to A. It is pointing to the global object this. Okay. So this is something which you need to know. Okay. Let me. Okay. I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. So what we saw that if I put console.log in the function, it displays the global this object. Okay, but if I create a function a, for example, and if I say console.log of this, okay, and here I will say this dot name equal to mango, for example. Now when I press enter and I call a function, what do you think? Where is this name goes? How can I access this name? Can anyone tell me how will I access this variable? Whether can I access it? Can I access it here directly, or I should go inside the function and console.log this one variable to see it? What do you think? Where should I access it? Whether inside A I will access it, or outside A I will access it. If I access it inside A, what will be, how will I call it? And if I access it outside, how will I call it? Can anyone tell me? You can unmute it and you can tell me. Okay, so Anand is saying this dot name inside the function. Okay, so if I do like this and I will do this dot name, definitely I will be able to access it. Let's do A. So I'm able to access the mango. Now can I access this outside the function A? Is it possible to access this outside the function A? Okay, I have not reached to that new A right now. This is the normal function we are talking. Right now I have not reached to create an object from this A. We'll come to that point, but right now I'm only talking about a function. Normal function which you saw till yesterday, not the creation of the object with this function. I'm not creating object with this function yet. I will create it and we'll talk more about it, but right now I want to know how can I access this name outside the function A? Is it possible to access it? Yes or no? Is it possible to access this variable outside the function? How? How is saying yes. Anand is saying yes. So how can I access this? What should I write here? How can I access this name outside the function? What should I write? Fast. This dot name. Okay, so this dot name, if I put, it's coming mango. Because this is the global object. I already showed you. This is the global object. So global object means I can access it outside also. When I can access it also, that means I can call this dot name to access the mango. Can I use only name to access the mango outside the function A? Instead of this dot name, can I say only name? Sonu is saying no, Anand is saying no, How is saying yes. Okay, Yash is saying yes, Desti is saying yes. Okay, so if I put name, only name, Nikhil is saying no. If I put only name, I am still able to see mango. The reason is, whenever I create a variable, for example, variable x equal to 1, 2, 3, this, when I create this x, it is created in the global space. So I can access it with x. I can access it x with this dot x, then also it will come, because this is the global variable. Any global variable can be accessed directly without this, or it can be accessed this, or I can also use window.x, then also it will come. because this is window and only variable on the global space is also pointing to this. So if I say this dot x, it means x. So I can access x, I can access this dot x also, I can access window dot x also. Similarly with the Mango, since it is created in the global space, I can access it this dot name, or I can access the name, or I can access the window dot name. Then also it will come Mango, because all three are pointing to the same global space. Name, this dot name, or window dot name. It was created inside this function, and I can access it outside, because this keyword means in the function, this keyword means that it is a global variable and I can access it outside this function. This function has this keyword. This keyword is not related to A, it is the global variable and we can access it outside. Okay, let's take the same example. I will put this here, console.log of this. I created a function this, but I will create now object of this A. So I will say var o equal to new A. When I say var o equal to new A, then when I say var o equal to new A, then this console.log of this is not pointing to the global object. This is pointing to the A, as you see in this statement. What we are seeing here, we are seeing an object which is A, and now this is not pointing to the global space. Okay, so to verify this, I will create a new tab and I will do it again. Okay, so initially I'll check name is there. Okay, name is the generic word. Let's put something different. Last name. So last name is not created, so let's create a function now. Instead of name, I will use last name. Okay, so now I created this function. Now I will create a object with this function o equal to new A. When I run this statement, now since this though it was created as a function, but I used the line to use this function as an object like this. When I use this line, then this variable inside this function is pointing to A. It will not point to the global this. So if I say enter A, you will see I printed the console.log of this. Now it is pointing to the A object. It is not pointing to the global this object which we saw previously. When I create only the function, then it is pointing to the global object. But when I created a function and used an object, then this is pointing to this object, that is this function A. This is the A. So this, what is the O? O is the object. It is created from the A function, therefore A name is coming here, but it is the object of last name Mango. So whatever variable I create with this inside this function will be the part of this object, and I can see it in the curly bracket. Now tell me, if I do this dot last name, can I access Mango in the global space with this dot last name? No. How is saying no? Ola is saying no. Let's check it. This dot name last name. So when I say this dot last name, it is saying undefined, because this last name was created. This dot last name is now the part of this object, so it is not available to the global space. Even if I say last name, it will give me error. Previously, when I was only creating the function, I was able to access the variable inside it. But now, since the function is not called as a normal function, the function is called as an object. So this last name is a part of this object. It is not the part of the global object. So I cannot access this dot last name outside the function. I cannot access last name outside the function, because now this is the part of this object and not the part of the global object. Is this clear? Okay. I need 5 minutes more because we are in this part. So I want to just do 5 minutes more because we will lose the thread. If I do that thing tomorrow, I will lose the important thread. So let me do that part now. So let me create a variable var c equal to. So this is, I am directly creating object without the function. I will name this object as the C object, or I can say last name, or I can say book name. Okay, because name is generally used many places, so I don't want to use the name, which will confuse me. So I will say book name is C object. Then I will say some function, say. Say is a function, and inside this say function, I will do the console.log of this. Now, what do you think this will be printed? What is the value of this will be when I run this say command? Is it the global object or it is the C object? I know many of them may not know what is the value of this, but you have to guess. If you guess now, then I will give the answer, then you will remember it correctly. It is, many people are saying C object. The answer is correct. It will point to the C object because when I was doing the function, I created the object from the function, and so anything I use this inside this function was pointing to the object, not pointing to the global object. Similarly, when I create this object directly without a function, so it is already the object. So anything if I write console.log of this, it will point to this object, that is the C. It will not point to the global object. And we can say like this, I created this and I will say c.say. When I say c.say, you will see it is the object. And what is the object? Object is C, because I can see book name, I can see the function say. I don't see the global object. I don't see the whole list of the global object because this is created inside this object. Whenever this is created inside the object, this will become the part of the object. This is not the global object now. This is the part of this object. Okay, let's do this further example on this one because we are here. I don't want to go out of this. Okay, so if I say I'll create this C again. So here I can say console.log book name is, previously you saw when I was using the object, I was saying C dot book name. I can say like this also, C dot book name to mention this book name. I can also say this dot book name because this is nothing but the C. Here this is not the global object. Here this means C. So I can say function book name is this book name and it will print this one. Okay, let's try to do this now. C dot say. So when I say C dot say, the book name is the C object. So create this object and then we will go further to modify this object. So just write down in the notepad or text pad or console, and then we will do a little bit more work on this. 2-3 minutes I will take more because this is the thread I don't want to miss. So just write down this one and once let me know once it is done. Okay, done. Okay. So let's modify this function to a little bit more complex. So here what I will do inside this function, say I will I will I will update this book name. What I'll do, I'll update the book name. This dot book name is equal to updated C object. So when I write this dot book name equal to updated object, what you will see in this console.log, whether you will see this or whether you will see this. So this is the one number, this is the two number. When I write this console, what you will see, whether the two number or one number. Tell me, one number or two number? Two number, because we are updating the this value by putting this. Let's check it practically. So I'll say C dot say. So it is saying updated C object because we updated this book name. Let's try to do one more thing. If I create a function here, inside this, say, if I create a function ABC, for example, inside this, and then I do console.log inside ABC, and I will print this. Now when I print this here inside this function, I print this. What do you think? What will be this? Whether it will be ABC or it will be this function or C object or the global object, what you will see? What will be this here when I write a function here? When I call this function ABC here, because it is created in this local space. So what will happen when I run the ABC? Whether this will be this function or this function or C object or global object, what you will see? You are saying say function. One answer is say function. How is saying C object? Ali is saying which function? Ali, this one or this one? I will name it. This one is number 1. This one is number 2. This one is number 3 and global is number 4. Ali is saying 2. Nikhil is saying say function 2. Ali is saying 2. How is saying 1. Yes is saying 3. Sonu is saying 2. So maximum people are saying 2. Now let's see what it does. Okay, so this is something strange. Okay, I will say C dot say. When I say C dot say, this will run and then this will run and then this will run. It will go inside this function and I will see this console.log of this. Let's see what it comes. So you will see inside ABC, I'm getting this global object. Okay, so I'm getting global object. So when I create a function, so let's drill this more. When I create a function inside the object, then this will point to that object. So when I say console.book.name, it is pointing to this object and I can able to see book.name as a C object. But when I write function inside the function, then this will always point to the global object. It will not point to this, it will not point to this, it will not point to this, it will point to the global object. So this is the strange thing in JavaScript. Nobody will expect, oh, since this is pointing to this object, then this must also point to this object, or at least say. But JavaScript is something hysterical, and so if I write one function, then it's okay. But when I write another function inside the function, then this will be pointing to the global object. Now what will happen if I write another function inside this xyz? So here I will say console.log xyz this. Now what do you think? What will be this if I call xyz here? Whether it will point to this or tell me the number 4, 3, 2, 1 or global object. Ali is saying 1. Anand is saying global object. I need answers from other. Yes is saying global object. So the thing is that first function will only point to this object C. After that, if I write n number of functions, all functions will point to the global object. So this will also point to global object. This will also point to global object. Only this part will point to the C, but all other functions will point to the global object. Okay, let's run this one. I will say C.say. You will see inside ABC also global object, XYZ also global object. So this is the special thing. Just you have to remember that only the first level of the function is pointing to the C object. Rest all the functions inside that first function will point to the global object. So just write down this function or type it or do something. So because this is very important. We will be drilling more in few days. So just write down this function. So I need this you to write down. This will help you to remember this point which I am saying. And maybe you can make a note in the side that only the first level of function will point to the C. Rest all internal functions will point to the global variable. This is very important interview question, and many people ask this question. So if I have given 10 interviews, 2 people have asked me about this thing. So now I will close this session, but before closing, I just want to ask one more thing. This is pointing to the global object, this is pointing to the global object, but this is pointing to the C object. Okay, I will put this in the chat. I will also put this code in the Telegram chat if you want. I put it in the Telegram chat also, I put it here also. If you cannot copy it here, you can copy it from the Telegram chat. Okay, now one question. Before closing, I will ask one question. Since we are here, you need to answer me. I will show you the answer tomorrow, but I want you to use your brain and answer me. Where is this pointing to? Answer is global space. Where is this pointing to? Answer is global space. Where is this pointing to? Where is this pointing to? This. C, right. This is pointing to C object. Now I want to use this C object inside this function. But this, if I use this inside this, it will not work, because this is, if I use this inside this function, then this is pointing to maybe the global object, but I want to use this dot book name inside this. So how will I use it? So everybody is saying C. So generally, you know, this name, if I use this name, then this name can be changed later on. I can copy this one, I can delete this variable, or I can I don't want to use this name, because this name is, you know, particular to this object. Tomorrow I change the name somehow and I want to use this object. So if I use C, it will be pointing to some C which may not be available inside it at that moment of the time. Right? So in this example it is available, but I don't want to use C because C can be, this part can be used in copy to some different thing, and C may be deleted somehow. Right now it's var, so it cannot be deleted, but if I use C similarly like without var, or I don't want to use C, what is the way to use this inside this one? Okay, pass this C, this object as a parameter to the function. Okay, so that is, uh, okay, you think different ways and tell me tomorrow. There are different ways, and the one of the way which generally programmers use, or which is the optimum thing to use, which will not cause any problem otherwhere, at other places, that is something I will show you. And you have to think different ways. How can you use this inside this function? So just think couple of ways, and then we will find the best way to use it, or whatever the developers do nowadays to use it. So there is a special thing people do nowadays, and I will show you that tomorrow. So if I see people are saying use the C dot book name or pass the C as a parameter to this function. So these are the different ways, but all these ways create some problem at some point of the time in using this program. So we will use one of the method tomorrow to access this keyword inside this function. Because if I right now access this dot book name, it will not come inside this function, because this is pointing to the global space and this is pointing to this C object. Okay, and we will see tomorrow the best way to use it. Okay, thank you. Any questions you can ask, otherwise let's meet.